I read a book about improving your habits. I can't remember the name of the book right now, but it really talked a lot about triggers, creating triggers that will cause you to do things when that trigger activates. And just this idea of triggers was fascinating to me because I looked at positive ones, but more I looked at negative ones because I had a lot of them. What will trigger you in a negative way? If you're aware of these things, then you can tame them and you can reverse them. Because if those triggers, they did these studies, they called it Pavlov's dog. They'd ring a bell before they fed the dogs. And pretty soon they just ring the bell and the dogs would start salivating because it was a trigger for the dog to know there's food coming. Well, we have triggers too. And let me give you some of mine. You got to examine yours, but let me give you some of mine. If somebody rejected me, or if I felt like they rejected me, it triggered me into discouragement. It triggered me into a little mini depression. It triggered self-doubt. It triggered negative thoughts. It triggered blame. It triggered all kinds of things. If somebody just had a bad day and took it out on me when I'm trying to give them the opportunity of my business. So I found that was one of them, that there were some times when something bad would happen in my business, or somebody, let's just say you start with a prospect and one you really, really, really expected they were going to join. Have you ever had one of those? You just, they'd be perfect. They'd be amazing. They'd be unbelievable. And you expect that they're likely going to join. You've talked about opportunities together. And then you go talk to them and they just throw cold water on you. For me, that was a trigger. Like, I deserve to not work for a week. I deserve to go home and be depressed. I deserve to tell everybody how difficult my day is, right? It was a trigger for me. Here was another trigger. People would join my business and quit a week later. And depending on how much hope I had for that person to be productive in my business, how much it was going to help me, get to the next pin level or whatever position in my company, I would, there were sometimes I would be depressed for 2 weeks because it would trigger this, sure enough, I'm not going to be able to be successful here. Everybody's quit. That was a trigger for me. If somebody disrespected me, it was a trigger. Any of you get triggered by being disrespected? And here's what I mean by a trigger, a negative trigger. Does it cause you to do bad things to your business? Does it cause you to take actions that are not productive in the growth of your business? If it does, it's a negative trigger. So sometimes being disrespected or perceiving that somebody's disrespecting you. My upline received some award and they didn't thank me. And maybe they just forgot, but you're triggered. And as a result of that trigger, it doesn't cause you to do more of the correct activity. It causes you to do less of the correct activity. So rejection from prospects, people joining my team and quitting, depending on how successful they were going to be, was a huge trigger for me. If I was disrespected, if I was passed over, if I wasn't recognized, the way I thought I should be recognized, if I wasn't given opportunities, if I didn't get stage time, I'd get triggered. So, and I found I was on a trip, I was in Paris, and I had just started my health transformation, and I'm still a work in progress. And hopefully as we continue to talk to each other on a daily basis, you'll see a metamorphosis of me over time. But I just finished talking to somebody and they gave me a compliment. Said, Eric, hey, you're looking good. I was, oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Gosh, I was worried about you. You're getting in better shape. Proud of you. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Awesome. As soon as I finished that conversation, I wanted pizza. Why? And I'm going to get pizza after that conversation. And I'm like, hold on. Why do I want pizza? I just got complimented for being in shape and making better nutrition decisions. Why do I want pizza? Is it because I feel like I've already arrived? No. Is it because I'm uncomfortable with the change and I don't feel like I'm necessarily worthy of being in better shape? Yes. My trigger had to do with my lack of self-worth and not being comfortable with a new story being told about who I was. So I learned to become highly aware when somebody gave me a compliment. And now I'm not saying you can't give me a compliment. My friends can't give me a compliment. But every time I get a compliment, I'm like, okay, be careful, be careful. And I raise my awareness really, really high to what actions am I taking as a result of getting this compliment? Is it moving me towards my ultimate objective, or is it moving me away? For the most part, it moves me away unless I'm highly aware. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you understand what are the triggers that cause you to do less, and you can raise your awareness on them, you can control them. They won't control you. If you're not aware, they will control you. And here's what you don't want as a self-employed person, as an entrepreneur. You don't want things to happen in your business that will cause your business to be less productive. And since you're the biggest asset, you've got to control you. And you have to be aware of the triggers that are causing you to play big or play small. Okay? So every time you're looking at triggers in your life, just look at what happened right before you started doing less than you could be doing. What happened? Let me give you another trigger that I had. I would go to events and I'd come home from the event and I felt like I deserved, some rest time. And it would take me 3 weeks to get back into productivity after an event. I felt like I earned 3 weeks off. I was like, wow. So actually, if I didn't change my thinking, going to the event actually hurt my productivity. Now, are the events amazing? Do they change my life? Of course. But I needed to change how I thought about coming back from an event. I needed to raise my awareness about going into the event, during the event, and after the event to make sure that the results of the event were more of the activity that I should be doing. What are the triggers that's causing you to do less? Take a look at any moment in time over the course of the year when you've done less in the last 12 months. When you did less, what caused you to do less? And be honest with yourself. What caused you to do less? What were the triggers that moved you out of productivity? Because if you can raise your awareness on them, then you can have them work for you. This is happening. I can't let this define me. Let me respond to it differently. Now I'm still aware when people give me a compliment because my self-worth is a work in progress. I'm still aware that it's an issue, but I'm not avoiding compliments. I'm changing my awareness when they show up in my life. And I'm using them to push through to new levels of performance when it comes to my body, when it comes to my business, when it comes to all these different things. We all have triggers. Okay? Make sure that you raise your awareness so they start to work for you instead of against you. That's our lesson for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.